Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospects and Show 101. My name is Chris, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Lions' selection of Amani Oruwariye in the 5th round of the 2019 NFL Draft. So, the Detroit Lions took my personal favorite corner in the entire class, and Amani Oruwariye with the 8th pick in the 5th round of the 2019 draft. And I'm just gonna, we've already done a breakdown on all of his 2018 tape. If you guys want to watch that, we covered his Iowa, Pittsburgh, and Maryland games before he became a Lion last week. So definitely go ahead and check that out. That was a really fun video for me. And I kind of got to point out some of the specific traits and things I like about him over there. But for now, what I want to do is I want to talk about something that we didn't really necessarily bring up in the last time that we watched him. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this real quick. But what I really want to point out to you guys is something that really kind of caught my eye almost in the last minute, and I noticed this live also. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up some Dwayne Haskins versus Penn State tape from the season. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to really kind of point out some things that really make Amani special to me that haven't really been discussed very often in the public sphere. And this is something that, again, I really kind of harped on in the last minute as he kind of started to fall, that really kind of caught my eye a little bit. And I think this is kind of the thing that separates him a little bit from some of the other guys that have fallen into day 3, or even some of the other top corners in the class. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to turn this down into half speed to make it easier to point out where he is in some of these plays. And what we're going to do is, obviously this is Haskins tape, but what I'm going to point out is where number 21 in Penn State is for every play. And we're basically going to watch Amani Oruwariye versus Ohio State instead. And obviously Haskins and where the play goes is, I'm kind of hinting at something there, is something that I really want to focus on, right? So what you're going to see here, and we talked about this in the Dwayne Haskins tape. So for those of you guys who have watched that, when we covered Dwayne Haskins last week, you guys already know kind of where I'm going with this. And that was where I kind of noticed this again. And I remember watching this game live and thinking this. Um, but it's something that kind of came back to me. So here we go. He is lined up here on the bottom of the screen receiver. Zone look, and it's a rollout. Now, one thing I'm going to point out here again is notice exactly where Haskins rolled out. He's going out to this right side, right? Away from Amani. Something that you're going to consistently hear me say over and over, and that's really why I wanted to make this video for. And we get to kind of go over some of the other traits and things along those lines as well. Boom. Love how he's physical and attacking the block, right? Something Lions very much covet from their corners is their aggressiveness. And he is a very willing to be aggressive type of corner, which is really, really nice to see. Zone look again. Bottom of the screen once again. Nice smooth back pedal. Face is open to the receiver. More of an off-man type of look. And again, I believe that's Amani. Yep. Obviously, his guys made a quite quick play, so he didn't necessarily need to react all that quickly, but regardless, he still came forward. Bottom of the screen here, we saw him for a quick second, leading the communication. Definitely leader in the secondary. Now he's playing man in the flat. Bottom of the screen, again, leading in the communication in the secondary. Fifth-year senior, truly one of the more high IQ players that Penn State had on their defense last year. And another off-man look, and always keeps the receiver in front of him to know where he is at all times. Again, once again, very consistent with the leadership call-out adjustments on the back end. Which honestly is pretty rare for a corner. Most of the time nowadays you see the safeties kind of taking on that role. For a outside corner to be kind of that factor and that leader is really nice. And his own look. So already you guys are really seeing the balance between the zone coverage, both short and intermediate, and the off-man coverage. And what's funny is arguably the best part of his game is when he's playing tight. So, not to say that he has a strength or glaring weakness in any area, but that was probably the main reason why Amani fell, is he doesn't necessarily have that Pro Bowl, All-Pro trait in any area, but he's so well balanced and versatile in everything. That really makes him special. Here we go. Again, man coverage. I love his smooth feet. He's really natural mover and back pedal. And you really get to see that on half speed. Just so natural with his knees. And watch this. Another play really stands out to me. Boom! Cuts off the receiver and takes him out of the play. That's motor. Again, doesn't always show it because he's kind of hard to identify with corners sometimes. But you see it in run support with his aggressiveness in attacking blocks. You see it on plays like that where he plays through the whistle and the play extends. And those types of things. It's kind of harder to pick out with corners because for the most part you just see them in coverage or tackling. But it's really his ability to finish plays is kind of underrated. And another thing that really stood out to me when watching his tape. And that's what really sold him as my Lions cornerback one. And why I moved him up on my Lions board so much is you can make the argument, yeah, Greedy's much better for a man team. Byron much better for his own team. Rocky Singh, fantastic fit for someone who needs to play in the box or whatever, where it has their corners and run support. Boom. I'm actually going to finish this point first before I talk about that play. But with Amani, you kind of get, he can play in zone. He can play in man. He can make a tackle. He can play deep. He can play shallow. He can play X, Y, Z. He can play in the middle of the defense and cover the middle of the field. Can he do all of those things at an elite level? Debatable, arguable. He has the potential to grow into that. Those types of things. Is he necessarily there yet? Maybe not. And that's why he really fell. He's good in man. He's good in zone. He's good in press. He's good in across the middle of the field. He's a decent tackler who's willing to make plays, not necessarily the greatest at it. He's pretty physical, right? He's not the most, the best, the most aggressive, the guy, right? And that balance is kind of what hurt him in terms of teams. So, but now that I say that, let's go back and take a look at this play. And this is what, again, another thing along with the motor and the willingness and the balance that kind of separates him from other people in this class, right? Watch this. Bam, out route, boom. Look at where he's positioned. excellent job of staying in phase, getting his hand up, right in phase, and we saw what happened here, that it was about a 10-yard out, cut down. Amani, excellent break to stay in phase. Unfortunately, they're not going to show another look at it because this is Haskins tape. But what I really wanted to point out here is how many times have you seen him targeted? None. That was the first target this entire game, and we're already in the second quarter. They do not ever throw at Amani Oruwariye. Why? Because he's so disciplined in his positioning, his recognition of routes, his mental traits and IQ. He is really developed in those areas, and that's why he's able to make an impact on day one in Detroit next year. Because yes, he's not the most technically sound in terms of man coverage, zone coverage, whatever. He's not the most aggressive guy, as I kind of just made that point. But what he is the best at is his mental traits, and that's why he's the perfect fit in Detroit next year, and that's why he's my corner one. And again, you see it there. The discipline, the route recognition, the patience, all of those traits are where he really stands out, right? Right here, bam! As soon as this receiver moves from a vertical stem, he's already breaking down on the slant. That's top-notch route recognition. Top of the screen. Really smooth back pedal, nice quick strides. And despite Haskins moving over, he had no chance to throw. He'll be on the left side over here. And watch how he stays with them, right? Staying physical, staying engaged, taking that running back out of the play, and playing through the whistle. He is the quintessential do your job player in this cornerback class. Top of the screen. And opposite side of the field. And it's not like Ohio State has like their one dominant receiver or anything where it's like they're always like Paris Campbell is their clear number one guy. They have Terry McLaurin, they have Johnny Dixon, they have a decent tight end room. They have a lot of they have two good running backs, right? So they don't just have one dominant guy. And you're kind of seeing again with Amani being able to switch, right? So they're putting him on several different types of receivers, and he's able to guard every single one of them because he's so versatile and balanced. And again, that's the one reason why I love him so much in Detroit, right? Is because Detroit is typically one of those matchup type. Okay, this week we're going to put Darius Slay on cornerback 2, or on wide receiver 2, because Darius is a much better guy in terms of a man who can also play zone, because he has the playmaking ability in the zone, but he has the stickiness in the man. Whereas Amani is another one of those guys, right? Where, okay, this week, Amani, you're going to be playing man coverage because this guy knows how to separate and find holes in the zone. So we want you to stay with this guy and make sure that he doesn't create separation. Amani can do that. Next week, right? This guy's physical, he's aggressive. Say Atlanta with Julio Jones. Physical, aggressive, able to win one-on-one battles. Okay, this week we're going to zone him up and try and take away his areas of the field. Amani can do that at a high level. And that's kind of why I see him as the perfect fit in Detroit. One of those guys, week to week, able to change with versatility and coverage. and you're never going to play him the same way back to back to back to back weeks, or even necessarily back to back to back to back plays. His ability to adjust on the fly, he's able to run different types of coverage in a given week on a given play. He can run combo coverage well. He's able to do so many things at a good level. And that's what makes him able to step up in a day one role. That's why I'm so high on this pick, and he's probably my favorite pick in the entire class. And I would have said this if he went to Tennessee. I would have said this if he went to New England. And it's why I'm so thrilled that he's a Detroit Lion right now. And as I just talked about, right? Earlier he was lined up on McLaurin. Earlier he was lined up on Dixie. Earlier he was lined up at one point on a tight end. And Bauer, however his name is, Jake Bowers, Jake Bowers. And now he's lined up on Paris Campbell, a speed threat, a burner, an athlete receiver who can run after the catch and screen. And then they switch. He's able to line up on both sides of the field also. You just saw him lined up on the right hash here. Now he's lined up on the left. He's able to line up all over the field, all against different types of receivers, playing all different types of coverage. And despite that, they haven't thrown at him twice. They did once, and it was great coverage. Haven't tried him since, and we're at the back half of the first half. Bottom of the screen, back on the left hash. Zone coverage. And then here we get to see him. Boom. Misses the tackle. But, again, the tackling and the aggressiveness and the lunging and all that kind of thing can be worked on. Right? It's something, okay, maybe he's not the most polished in this area, but he has the base to be able to grow and develop in this area, right? So watch. Again, leadership and leading the coverage. What I love here, right? He's aggressive and coming up to make this play, right? Takes on the blocker here, gets off the block with a really nice aggressive physical block shed. And then he's willing to stick his head and nose in and took out the blocker, which frees up number 7 to miss the tackle. But again, the willingness to be physical and stick his head in and make the play is there. Breaks down. Has to stay disciplined in case they do throw it to 83 on the backside. But there, and then bam. Nice play by JK to cut this inside. And he ends up being a little too aggressive in terms of the lunge tackle. But he ends up taking out the blocker and freeing up number 7 to make the play. So, kind of take a look at that for what it is also. Now this play is probably going to be more zone, based on him being lined up on the outside. He is the only corner in the entire class, in my opinion, who has the ability to be good in any type of coverage against any type of receiver from day one. Underneath the Paris, and he should be coming in from back here. Yep, right here. Bam. Finishes the play. Bottom of the screen, right side of the offense. Paris Campbell on a vertical stem, opposite side of the field. Every single snap, but one, where it was a good coverage and an incompletion. Boom! Look at that. Second target of the game in the third quarter. Never threw at him. And the reason why they threw at him on this particular play is because the scheme called for off man on defense. Ohio State countered that with an underneath route. Right, so Amani's playing off and off man. And kind of guarding the sticks here also. He does a really nice job of protecting the sticks. And he knows he's willing and aggressive enough to be able to come up and make this tackle. Right? So he's already coming downhill. And then, bam! Nice job grabbing the legs, wrapping up, and rolling. Very sound fundamental tackle. Inconsistent at it, but again, the base is there. It's all about the consistency and the continued development. Shakes the block really well and is able to get in on the tackle with Haskins. A dude who's, 3 inches bigger, 20 pounds heavier than him? Not shy. Never see him running away from the football. Always towards it. Which plays into his motor. Really. Bottom of the screen. So look. Now again, shed this block. And then aggressively cut off the angle and getting on the tackle. Now, just saw him on the right side, back to the left hash. All over the field. Bottom of the screen. Just played left hash. Now he's back at right hash. Played against Paris Campbell a couple times. Now he's lined up again. I believe that's Dixon. That might be McLaurin though. I don't remember which numbers are which Ohio State guys. And that was 11 anyway. Back to the right hash, and now he's lined up against a tight end. I believe that's a tight end. Until they switch. Screen pass to his guy. And then come up and make the play. Probably could have done a little bit better there. But yeah, 86, that is their other tight end. So he started off lined up in the slot against the tight end. He is, I believe, the bottom of the screen right here. Again, another big receiver, right? Ohio State has all these different types of receivers. They have your Paris Campbells with your speed. They have your Terry McLaurins with your route runners. They have your tight end guys, your bigger wide receivers. He's lined up against all of them. And he's done his job against all of them. And he's covered all of them. And the best part is he's found success against all of them. Back this up a little bit. Are they going to switch this? I think this is a switch, right? Oh, no. He stopped and then he came across the top. Okay. That's the top of the screen this time on the left hash. Again, one snap after playing the right. Let's play by 5. Back to the left hash. 3rd and 9, so you're probably going to see him in off man protecting the sticks here first. And yeah, again, the patience, right? Wait for the receiver to come to him. Opposite side of the field. Top of the screen, and here we get to see him in a run support role. Blitzing, actually, and he almost gets a sack. Amani Oruwariye almost got a sack on Dwayne Haskins. And I love this, right? Very nice stance, legs properly bent, backside extended properly, really forward, hands able to quick lunge if he needs to. Nice first step explosion, right? And bam, gets a little bit of bend around the edge here, flattens. Excellent pass rush from the outside cornerback position. Keeps open to the receiver, very nice like that. Right on him. Opposite side of the field. Must have been a penalty of some kind, probably offsides. 6. Keeping the receiver in front of him, open to the receiver. Opposite side of the field. Fourth and 1, going for it. Leading the defense. That was a nice play by the defensive front. That Gross Matos is in there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 99 is Gross Matos. They had to double him. Wish we got the other guys to make the play. Out of the screen. Opposite side of the field. Most likely a zone look here based on him being lined up in between. Could be a cover 3 or cover 4. Opposite side of the field. 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 Not targeted. Run play. Opposite side of the field. Opposite side of the field. How many times have I not? Opposite side of the field. Again, of course, it was almost picked, but I mean, do you guys see the trend? Right side of the field, they throw it to the left. Left side of the field, they throw it to the right. Slot, they throw it to an outside guy. Outside, they run it. Outside, they use blitzing. Outside, they throw it to the opposite side. Every single play, except for like 2. Open to the receiver very nicely. Nice aggressiveness at the catch point. Kind of caught him off guard with the run. But look at how deep into the game we are. Almost more than halfway through the 4th quarter against Dwayne Haskins, Paris Campbell, J.K. Dobbins, Mike Weber, Johnny Dixon, Terry McLaurin, Jake Bout, all these guys. It took until more than halfway through the 4th quarter for them to target him on their 3rd time, leading to a completion. More than halfway through the 4th quarter, he is 2 of 3 on passing attempts. That is nuts. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a replay of this. But another thing, too, I'm going to throw out there is this isn't necessarily like one of those 3-second cover type 4-second cover type situations. This play is going really long. and he had to cover for a very extended period of time, right? Like, at this point, this is kind of an improv situation for the receiver. This isn't like a simple slant and go or anything. Route. I mean, he snaps this at 42, and we'll see exactly how long he has to cover this. At this point, the play is basically broken, and yeah, it's almost about to turn 47. Yeah. So he's covering for almost 5 seconds. That is a long period of time, especially knowing that the play is broken. And even then, he's still very physical at the catch point. And he tries to break this up. He's able to get into phase nicely. But still. And that was Victor, right? That wasn't even like their number 1, 2, 3 guy. That was the one guy I haven't even listed yet. Oh, yes, they are going to show us the slug. Perfect. So, again, Amani, top right of the screen here, stays open to the receiver. Looks like an in route of some variation, rounded in. And he is a step behind, so he is out of phase, which is why he did throw it to him. But he does a really nice job here of recovering and getting back into. Oh, it's delayed. Okay. Yeah, so he's doing a really nice job here of getting back into phase. Nice job of attacking the ball with the outside hand, trying to break that up. And he tried at the end to rip it out. But he just wasn't able to. So it's really all about that consistency and again, it's less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They've targeted him 3 times. He's allowed 1 completion. And this is quarterback 1 for some people. I mean, obviously there's Kyler Murray and everything else. But, I mean, Dwayne Haskins, he spreads the ball around pretty effectively to his full receiving core. Does a really nice job of divvying up market share, especially with Ryan Day and everything like that. And the one guy that they're consistently staying away from and actively game playing against is Amani Oruwariye. They've targeted everyone else, they've hit everyone else has multiple catches against, everyone else is getting targeted. Everybody else, ooh, that was a nice aggressiveness by Amani. But everybody else, except for Oruwariye, is free, green light. And they have not targeted Amani until that play broke apart 5 seconds in, and they decided, well, he's off on this one play, wasn't able to cover through a extended pass rush. We're going to target him once. Now, back to this play I was talking through. This is going to be Amani here. And obviously, long strides, as you guys see from this point of view, to be able to cover ground. But watch how he takes on this 320-pound offensive lineman. Boom! Cuts him off and completely takes a blocker out of the play. Not many 195, 200-pound corners in the rest of the class. I think he's 210, 220. And not many other corners in this class are going to take on and annihilate an offensive lineman like Amani Oruwariye is. The dude is physical, and it's his willingness to be able to be physical that really stands out. Top of the screen, and again, tight, right? We've seen him in off-band quite a bit to give some of the burners space. We've seen him in zone quite a bit to be able to restrict some of the route running, guys like McLaurin. Now we're seeing him in man line coverage, tight man coverage. Boom, opens up so quick with the hips to be able to flex and adjust to the route. Man, I just cannot say enough good things about Amani, from his physical traits, his intangibles, his motor, his leadership, his character, every single thing about him your negatives are that he's not great at everything. For a 5th round pick, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, if you don't like this pick, you're a full-blown hater. The dude is just so much, and especially for me as a corner guy, who's someone who's loved watching corners for 10 years, probably my favorite position to watch out of all of them on the football field. To see this kind of guy go to Detroit, I haven't been this happy with a single draft pick. Well, I love the Hawkinson pick because he was #1 offensive player on the board, but I haven't been this happy with a singular draft pick outside of round one since Darius Slay. And that's nothing against Bob Quinn. I really like a lot of Bob Quinn picks. Kenny G, of course, has been so much fun to watch and everything else. But on draft day, without having seen the guys in Honolulu Blue, there's not much more that makes me happier than to see one of my top players at my favorite position go to my favorite team. Like there is this. And I'll finish this off too. One thing that Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia tend to focus on is how guys play in areas of the field, right? We talked about Jesse James being a red zone threat receiver. We talked about guys last year with Deshaun Shed being a red zone corner, right? We really value and we talked with Hawkinson, third down, short yardage guy who can make the plays in big moments, in the clutch, and things like that, right? With Amani, obviously Ohio State at home, 4 versus 9, top 10 game, big, big time game, right? Big moment, big game, probably determines a playoff berth for them if they're able to win, type of game for them. 4-0 team, 4-0 team, big program, big game, best cornerback they're going to see all year, whatever. Probably some of the better receivers he's going to see all year outside of Michigan. And then, I'm going back to this specific play. Red zone, inside the 10, 2 minutes to go in the game, down by 1, 2-point conversion will make it a field goal game. He's on a tight end in the red zone. They're not even looking at him. I mean, granted, that's probably the route on the play, but again, Haskins has a 6'1" corner in man coverage on a tight end who's about 6'4", 6'5", in the red zone for a 2-point conversion. They're not even looking at that side of the field. And that, in so many ways, makes the whole point of this entire video in one play. Versatility. Can cover anyone. Any part of the field. Balance. Everything you want in a corner, he's got it. And that, my friends, is why Amani Oruwariye is the best pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you learned a thing or two. But for now, peace out.